Hello and welcome back to the Brick Den and the final update for my Scarif MOC. So as you can see, the Citadel Tower and the rest of the MOC are now mainly done and finished. All that's left is just other little details. I decided to do this as I didn't really want to spoil it for the MOC showcase, but I still will be able to explain everything in this video. Since the last update, I haven't worked on anything else except the Citadel Tower. To build it, it's just been super complex, and it's really drained my parts, which has made it another really difficult thing, but I am so surprised that I've been able to pull it off. I was really beginning to doubt myself at some points. Although it's definitely still not to scale whatsoever, it's way too small, but I did think it was a necessary backdrop to include, and I mentioned that in the previous updates of why I decided to do it. And I think it still looks very impressive with the rest of the MOC. You can see that the rail speeder connects and docks into the tower. This turned out really well. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to work in any power functions into this feature, but I'm still very happy with it. Also on the outside, the shaping was a massive challenge to get right, but I'm happy with how it's turned out. I think it looks fairly accurate, although there is some problems, definitely with the side panels, but the reason they're not quite right is so I can still incorporate quite a detailed interior, which I'll showcase later. You can also see the satellite at the top. It is the same as the one I did for my Dakar resistance base and the one that I moved over to the Moncala base as well, but I've just changed it to dark bluish grey this time, as I was very happy with that design and I thought it was approximately the right size. The satellite is adjustable, but it is a little wobbly, but it still can adjust it so it fixes in other positions. I tried to incorporate power functions into this feature as well, so you could remote control it to move around, but unfortunately the area at the top where I could include it was just too small, and I really wanted to concentrate on the shape, so it was all in proportion. Now moving on to another big thing in the Citadel Tower, and that is the interior, which was also a massive challenge because the side walls are at an angle which just throws everything off, and it makes it much more difficult, especially when you're working with a limited part collection because you're using so much up on the outside. I really had to be careful not to waste too many bricks in certain parts, and definitely conserve my part collection so I could make it as large as possible. Inside the interior you can see lots of bridges and platforms, so I could try to recreate the look of it from the film, and also the colour scheme was very important. I wanted to get that right. I didn't want to just reject the interior and focus on the outside. I wanted to make sure it was just as accurate as the rest of the MOC. Now the main room that I wanted to include from the film was the archives and the entrance to the archives that we see heavily featured in the film. Outside of the archives there is the control panel where K2SO is seen from the film. I'm quite happy with this, although it's not quite right, but it does what it's meant to. There is also the big round door with some steps leading up to it. The door can slide and it is quite effective. Then moving over to the interior of the archives where you can access which files you want. The interior is very small, but you can see that I've tried to include some details from the film. Then inside the actual archives there is just one archive tower, and then also a balcony where we see Director Krennic try and attack Jyn Erso and Cassian in the film. Also in the film there is actually 3 of these archive towers, I think. But just like everything in this MOC, it's just my interpretation of what I can see and then translating that into a more confined space so I can build it with my part collection. Also in the interior there's this lift tower and lift shaft. There is actually no functioning lift in it, or even one that's not powered by power functions. It just simulates it. This is mainly just, once again, because of the size, but I think it does its job quite well. There are entrances and exits on all 3 layers, and then finally right at the back there is space for the control room, which I've not built yet. It is also a lot smaller. On the outside of the control room you can see the windows. Now I'm very happy with how this came together. I think the shaping's very good. The 2 side panels clip onto these pole pieces which go at an angle, and then they all fold in so they fit perfectly, and I'm very happy once again with how this turned out. So that's it for the final update of Scarif. Very soon I'll have the MOC showcase out. I'm not quite sure when, as I've got some other videos that are going to come out before that, but it definitely is going to come out, and then you'll be able to see the complete MOC, and also the video will showcase the whole MOC in its entirety, not just covering one section like I have done in this video. But for now, you can also check out the Brick Den's Instagram for extra pictures and pictures of the MOC when it's finished before that video will come out. Also, if you enjoyed this video, Don't forget to leave a like, it helps out a ton, and also a comment as well sharing your thoughts. Also, if you don't want to miss the mock showcase and other videos I've got in the works, don't forget to subscribe, and if you want to get notified, you can click on the bell icon. Thank you so much for watching this video.